The ANC is holding its crucial Special National Executive Committee meeting in Boksburg. That's in the East Rand later on today. The meeting is set to discuss a variety of options to constitute a new government within the next 2 weeks. Some party members say an ANC-DA coalition is the best option for the country's stability, while others, including, as you've heard, alliance partners COSATU and SACP, are strongly rejecting that. Let's get you a sense of how things are unfolding in Boksburg. That's where we find our reporter Samkele Maseko. And Samkele, I can see some protesters, I beg your pardon, behind you, including SACP Hassan, who's part of the ANC. What call are they making as these discussions take place inside?
Well, and at this point in time, you can see SACP Hassan, Tutugile Zuma, and Khwale. They are here outside Birchwood Hotel, where the ANC-NEC will be taking place. In fact, the president of the ANC has just drove in for the NEC meeting. You can see them with their placards. The DA wants to scrap affirmative action. Ra DA, Ra Sis. And essentially, John, DA says, so says SACP. But I'm going to bring SACP in and Tutugile Zuma and Khwale just to get an essence of what they are doing here. SACP, shouldn't you be at work as you're a public servant?
Public servants have leave days, Samkele. HR just said me last week that I have 8 weekdays of leave. If I want to take them, I will take all of them and go camp outside Lutuli House to say down with the DA down.
What if the DA takes over transport, in particular John Steenhuisen?
I'm a public servant. I will serve John with maximum excellence, calling him Honorable John. But now I'm at the street in Ekululeni. I don't have to call him that. He's not in government, and I don't want him in government where the ANC has won most votes.
Were you sent by Fikile Mbalula? Many people know your close proximity to the Secretary General of the ANC. Is he of the view that the ANC should not go into a coalition with the DA?
The Secretary General condemned me being here, tried to say I must not come. I told him that I cannot create a potsoi and not attend. It would be cowardly of me. I've worked with him for the last 11 years. He doesn't like cowards. Whenever I wanted to cower from a fight, he would tell me I don't work with cowards and threaten to fire me. I told him yesterday that I am not a coward. Whatever happens today, if there are consequences, I'm willing to live with them. In fact, it will be such pride for me if I face consequence for standing against racist DA.
Why are you so against the DA and the ANC going into a coalition?
The DA is not me who's against the DA. It's the DA that is against the ANC. For 30 years now, they have positioned themselves as ANC's #1 enemy without them being called that. They have opposed each and every legislative mandate by the ANC to the House with an over 80% record of rejection. The latest rejection was the hate crimes bill, which punishes racism, was the national health insurance, was the Bella bill, which seeks to transform education. So the DA cannot be in any of the considerations of the ANC.
Who should the ANC be considering as a coalition partner?
I have no opinion on that. I have my own views, but today it's not about that. I have confidence in the ANC. This is not a protest against the ANC or the NEC. It is a protest against the media. People who have been using the SABC, people who have been using ENCA, Newsroom, Media 24, and all other media platforms to suggest that the DA is the only option. The DA is not the only option. It can be excluded, and ANC can govern, led by President Ramaphosa.
Khwale, why are you against this particular proposed coalition or government of national unity?
The Democratic Alliance is anti-progress. They oppose everything that the ANC stands for. We cannot be collaborators with the DA, who are firmly against the emancipation of the black majority and who are advancing policies that actually advance white people only, privileged white people.
Then who should the ANC be considering as a coalition partner? MK Party, the EFF, IFP, Gayton Mackenzie's Patriotic Alliance, NFP, who?
I trust our leaders to come to a conclusion that basically gives us a government and a coalition that includes progressive forces. I will not name names as to who progressive forces are, but we cannot get into a coalition with people who are against ANC policies, who are against the transformation agenda of the ANC, and we definitely cannot get into a coalition with racists.
Have you had any engagement with the ANC's top brass officials or any of the NEC members with regards to this particular proposed coalition?
Yes, we've had discussions, side discussions with individuals who are in the NEC, and they have said to us, you have a right to protest, you have a right to your views as ANC members.
Thank you very much, Kesakhala. This will be a rather interesting one. Tutukile Zuma, the DA must not form part of a government of national unity. But in 1994, FW de Klerk formed part of a government of national unity. 2 years later, they walked away.
In 1994 was a watershed moment. You would understand that our country was gripped by violence, and we were coming out of a very difficult negotiation in which majority black people were suffering at the hands of the barrel of the gun with the instability and the violence, and the leadership provided leadership through that government of national unity. Totally understandable, but today is 2024, 30 years later.
When you look into the ANC, you're an REC member in the Greater Johannesburg region. Have you expressed your views against this particular coalition? Because there are some murmurs as well that you may be heading into a coalition with the DA in the city of Joburg.
Well, in terms of this view that the DA must be excluded from the government of national unity, I have expressed it as many times in many platforms as I possibly can.
The ANC is being blue-ticked by your father, the MK party. Have you tried to assist them to get hold of him?
The only thing I've tried and I'm doing successfully is to send a message that the DA has no place in a national unity government. This is the same DA that burnt our flag mere months ago. They have no patriotism, number one. But number two, they stand diametrically opposed to transformation. They don't believe in all our transformative legislation and policies, and they do everything in their power, as we've seen in the past 30 years, to undermine the project of transformation, to deal with, undermine the project to deal with inequality, poverty and unemployment. They are a racist organization that doesn't want to see the South Africa that the ANC envisions, and therefore they have no place in a government of national unity.
Which would be the perfect government of national unity? Is it which parties?
The perfect government of national unity is the one that the NEC will decide on. And what we're saying is that it should exclude the Democratic Alliance.
But who should it include?
The NEC is not my space. The NEC is here to deliberate on those issues. It's definitely not my space. I trust the leadership of the African National Congress. We elected them. We have full confidence in them. They will take the correct decision, and that correct decision excludes the Democratic Alliance.
Some have said that the MK party, the EFF, are the perfect choice because it's basically the mass democratic movement and the ANC base that would be leading the government.
Some have said that. I say I have full confidence in the NEC and their decision making, and I have full confidence that that decision will exclude the Democratic Alliance, because an inclusion of the Democratic Alliance would be a clear deviation and wrong turn on our national democratic revolution.
Will you be assisting Sifiki Mbalula get hold of Nxamalala?
I will be assisting these members and concerned supporters of the African National Congress to register the point that the DA has no place in our coalition.
I'm sure Nxamalala won't blue tick you, but will blue tick Mbalula.
I'm blue ticking you right now.
That is Tutukile Zuma, who's basically saying she's not entertaining that particular debate of how the ANC is being blue ticked by the MK party, which is led by former President Jacob Zuma. But she is amongst the ANC members who are standing outside this particular ANC-NEC meeting, saying that they are against the Democratic Alliance forming part of the government of national unity, GNU, that is essentially being proposed. And also saying that some within the NEC, like supposedly Dr. Zwelini Mkhize, have come out to saying that, and Lindiwe Sisulu, that the DA must be shut out at all costs, and that government of national unity must encompass the MK party and the economic freedom fighters. Ayanda.
All right, Samkele Maseko, blue ticks abound as those supporters shun the blue party. What an interesting time in South Africa. Samkele Maseko live to us there from just outside the Boksburg Hotel. That's in Boksburg, where the ANC-NEC is meeting to discuss coalition various options.